I was in the fire service from 1981 till 2012, and for the majority of that time I worked at our local station. The station I worked at was unusual in the fact there weren't people on the station for 24 hours. We went home at night on alerters. So we had a part-time staff who worked there who were called the retained. And I started working there in about 1989, and sometime in the early 90s, on a Tuesday night, I was going to put my kit away off the fire engine onto the rack where we kept them. And on a Tuesday night, the retained used to come in and fill out their availability for the weekend. And they used to come in for drill at about 7:30 at night. So to see somebody at the board at 5 o'clock was quite a shock. So I saw this guy filling in the board, and I was putting my gear away. So I was thinking up something witty to say, like, all right, you want the weekend off, do you? And what are you doing this Saturday night? Turned around, there was just nobody there. And I was a little bit taken aback. I assumed somebody had gone through the door, so I went to the rest of the station, and none of the retained were there, and they dressed differently from us then. They were in full dress uniform, and we were all in working rigs. So it wasn't like it was somebody else from the station, one of the whole-time firefighters who was at the board. It was definitely, what I saw was a retained, but there was nobody there. And I put this to the back of my mind. A few things were said about the station. I think certain people said if you're on your own after 11 o'clock it starts to feel a bit chilled. We just put that down to the heating. Anyway, in March of 2000 there was a massive power cut. All the station, all the area around was blown, and we had to wait without power until they put big generators in to fix the problem with the mains that came into our town. And we got a generator from headquarters that was only going to run the turnout system, because obviously we had absolutely no power in the town, so there was nothing we could do to keep the station working other than attach a generator to the turnout system. A plug was provided and a generator was set up, and I thought, even though I was off the following day, I would stay on call, because sometime during the night the generator would need filling up. So I obviously, during the night, the station got a shout. I ran over, and in the pitch dark started winding the doors up, which by hand take a heck of a long time. Obviously the electricity wasn't working, so I worked the thing, and by the time I'd got the doors up, everybody had come in, they're ready to go out in the fire engine. The fire engine went out, and I went down to fill the bucket. I thought I might as well get the shout and just fill the bucket and take what they call watch room, which was you look after the station while it's empty. And I did that. I went down, I was filling the book, and I heard footsteps down the corridor, and the torch I was using to fill in the book, I just shone up at the door, and the door opened and closed, and there was nobody there. And I just thought, oh, somebody's messing me about. But I thought it might be a member of the public, might be one of the retained coming in late, whatever it is, I'll check. So I went out to the corridor, and there was absolutely no sign, no other footsteps, and I just thought, well, somebody's messing me about. Anyway, I needed to fill up the generator, so I called control, and I said, I'm going to take the turnout system off the run while I unplug the generator and let it cool, and then top it up. And as I put the phone down, a signal went through the turnout system to say that it had gone off the run. And I thought, they must have flicked a switch at control. I now know that switch doesn't exist. So as I put the phone down, having just said I was going to take the system off the run, the alert went through to say the system was off the run, even though the generator was still running. So I thought, it felt a bit strange, but I thought, well, it's not off the run, it shouldn't have done that. But I went out the back, unplugged the generator, turned it off, let it cool for a few minutes, filled the fuel up, and then as I held the handle to turn the generator back on, the sound came through the system to say the system was back on. There was no power in the system for it to tell me that. There was nothing happening. There was no power anywhere in our town at all. There was no battery backup, there was nothing. The system said it was turned back on before there was anything to give it the energy to send that message. And at that moment, I knew there was something else doing all the things that happened since I got on the station. So when we're used to people playing pranks in the fire service, but when they come from the other side, it really does make you worry. So I turned the generator back on, put it back in position, chained it up, and then walked through the station and stood at the open front doors until the fire engine got back. And I told people what happened, and a lot of people have given me a lot of explanations, but none of them have ever convinced me that what happened that night wasn't something very strange. And like I say, we had periods, people have gone on the station, things have happened, and I know a few of the guys who still work there now who won't go on that station at night, not on their own. Anyway, that's my story. Thank you.